The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. I've said that a lot of times, right, Pop? My guest is Max Bendich.
How are you, my darling son?
Hi, how are you?
I am fine now.
So you seem a little bit excited about this new project that we're working on.
Yes.
Why? Why are you so excited?
Again, it's something new.
Right.
No, anything, Alan, anything that's new
Right.
excites me,
Right.
Alan.
But it's also your story. That's
I don't even remember.
Right.
This is what you did. This is what
Well, you know what? I left out in the last episode. I talked about the people involved in the film. Let me tell you some more people. We could even go as high as Matt Sullivan. He and Dina were people that actually I spoke to about the project, and they gave the thumbs up from LMC TV, which I really appreciate. We have Matt Bilzog, who's right now in the control room tonight while we shoot this episode. He's one of the producers of the show, and he's also the cinematographer. So we gave him some fancy titles, and he's not only that, we have a part for him, but I haven't figured it out yet in the movie. We have Andrew Wazalowski. He's going to get mad at me. He's going to be, he's the second camera, and he's been working on Scriptless MD with us over this, the last, for a while now. He's been, part of our team. And I mentioned Jim. Jim is going to be directing. I'll be doing like assistant directing, but Jim Fullerter will be the director on this project. John Thomas, JT Talent, JC Talent Enterprises will be the casting company that we're using for some of the supporting characters. We have Virginia, who's playing my grandmother Elka. We have you, Max Bendich, playing Louis Bendich, his father. I'm playing you, so Alan Bendich is playing Max Bendich. Joshua Elliott Pickle is playing Alan Bendich, and he's a really good actor. He starred in a movie called, I think it's called the E19 Virus, or E9, I forget which one it was. We have Lucy Lopez playing Dorothy Bendich, who is, in real life was your wife and my mother. And we have some other actors. Jim will be playing psychologist as well. He's doing both. He's producing, he's directing, he's editing, and he'll be acting in it. I'm just producing, and I guess assistant directing and acting in it. And Frank Sinclair again. He wrote the script. I asked him to write the script, and he was so happy to do it. He's very excited. As a matter of fact, I sent him a call sheet and a shot list, and I have to send it to Matt too, and to Andrew. And he's saying that he's saving all these projects. And I remember when I lived in Hollywood, I used to save every call sheet that I had in all the different shows. It was pretty exciting, and scripts. So that's it. It's exciting. It's an exciting time.
Did I keep that script?
I don't know where they are.
Because I hope. Yeah. I never wanted to throw out things like that.
The only script I found was my friend Stephen Cohen, who actually gave me my first speaking part in a movie in the mid-1980s called They Only Come Out at Night, and it starred Joey Pantoliano and Josh Brolin and a whole bunch of other interesting actors, and Alan Bendich. I have that script, and I played a semi-hip young man, and it's funny because I just finished filming another movie, and it finally made it on my IMDb page, thank God, called American Brawler, and it stars Zach McGowan and Joey Pantoliano. So I worked with him in like the mid-'80s, and I just worked with him in 2015 or 2016. So it's 31 years later, but he's a famous actor. He was in movies like The Matrix and a lot of other, and The Sopranos, and he was a really famous actor and a great guy. So I'm excited. Life is good.
Alan,
what?
You should never stop saying that. Alan, life is good.
Yeah, but sometimes you hit a bump in the road, right?
Again, I jokingly say, but the Irish have a wonderful saying.
Right.
May your road be a long life, and maybe the wind be at your back.
Now, guess what? You said that in a movie that hopefully will have a short movie that we're going to put on Scriptless not Scriptless, on Scriptless one day, called Waiting. You actually said that, the same thing. So it's like you weren't really acting.
No, it's a terrific,
I know, you said that on Scriptless.
I'm glad I So, it makes Scriptless,
Yes, it's good. It's exciting. You know, the other thing that's exciting, and it's both heartbreaking and exciting at the same time, is that, you know, it's almost like Scriptless and maybe even The Laundryman and maybe The Way to Go is like a stepping stone for people, and it should be that way, you know. And a lot of people from Scriptless are getting, and other projects that we work on, are getting recognized by other directors and producers, and they're actually getting parts and things like that. And it's great, but you know the person who's not getting them are me, but it's on the one hand I'm so happy for them, but yeah, maybe because I'm not giving those guys the parts either, so maybe that's it. But it's interesting, you know. You have a family, but just like in a regular family, like Aaron's going to graduate this year, right? I mean, he left already to go to college. Now he's graduating, so he's already, you know, like you have them just for so long in your life. And then there's a transition, and it's not really saying goodbye, but it's saying so long. You know what I mean? It's see you later, something like that.
I'm hoping, for even though it's see you later, life goes on. For an important step right after this,
Right?
And it should be a wonderful.
Right. So I think, you know, like this. I think Scriptless will continue because. It gives me a lot of joy. You know, it gives me a lot of pleasure. I find that for the most part, the people that we bring in, other than the people who are the regulars, the people who have been through like the season and a half or season and 3/4 that we've actually shot, we bring in a lot of other people. So there's a lot of new actors that come in. There are a lot of, and the word is new, and they find their way. I mean, we've had like 40 actors or 50 actors on Scriptless. You know, it's amazing.
And is that good?
Well, I think what happens is that it becomes part of the learning process for us as well as for them. They come on the show. A lot of them are new. They see already that we have a core group of people that have been working together for a couple of years now, and what's interesting is that we already know each other's moves. So these other people come into this environment and they have to dance with us, you know what I mean? And it's interesting. Some people do it well. And it's great because we bring some people in and it's unbelievable. I mean, some of the talent, like the woman who came in and did a Russian accent, she was playing Natasha. I never saw anything like that before, you know, it was like,
But again,
Yes.
eventually,
Yes.
this has to come to
No. What were you going to say?
a finale.
Why? Why does that have to be?
Show me now.
Why should it have to stop? I don't think it has to. I look at Scriptless as just something that, you know, the only way it'll stop is if I stop it. But to me, Scriptless, and this, you always say that it has to stop, but it doesn't. Scriptless is something that I plan to shoot as long as I can. And there's no reason for it to stop because there's always a new story. There's always, you know, I mean, if nothing else, one thing I found out doing Scriptless and now what we call Scriptless MD is that I could come up with a story. That's one thing I found out. And the stories just keep on coming.
But shouldn't you asked me why?
Why?
There comes a time when you want to get paid.
Well, the thing is, though, that
Understand
I'm not
what
doing
I'm
it.
trying to say?
Yeah, but that's for people. I mean, for me, I'm happy not getting. I mean, to me, I don't need to get paid for this. I do it for the pure pleasure. If I was looking to get paid, I wouldn't be doing Scriptless. I do it for pleasure. This is the sweetest thing in my life, other than family. Okay, working on The Way to Go, working on Scriptless, doing the movie The Laundryman. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, LMC TV kind of saved my life in a way, because if it wasn't for LMC TV, I'd be like miserable, missing Hollywood, not, you know, like all the things. But because of LMC TV, I'm able to both live my work life and live my dream life, and it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing, and the pleasure. I wouldn't get one. I mean, it's nice to get paid, and every now and then projects will come that pay me. I mean, I've done a couple of national commercials, but this is something that I know is something I could do every month. I mean, this is the beauty of this, having Scriptless and having The Way to Go, is that I don't have to worry about my next gig, because the next gig is next month, you know? A lot of actors are concerned all the time, when are they going to get their next part? I don't have to worry about that, because I make my next part. That's why the reason why I put Scriptless together was so you'd have a part. That was the whole thing. And then I realized, ultimately, that what I really did was to make sure that I had a part. And
you have a part.
I have, I created it.
I was going to say the.
No, I mean, but a lot of other people, which I understand, like the actors and directors and camera people, everybody, they're at a different stage of their life. Economically, they're in a different place in their life than I am. I don't do it I have another job that gives me my money. I don't need this for money. It's nice to get extra money. I do it not for the money, but other people who are dedicating their life to it and who are younger have to do it for money. So eventually, the natural course of things are that they're going to do this to learn, and if they continue, they're going to look to get paid.
Again,
Them.
but you understand why I'm asking.
No.
The whole thing, in my opinion,
Yes.
They're doing work.
They are.
Yeah.
They should get paid. Right. I agree. But the thing is, this television station is a volunteer station. That's the whole thing. No one gets, I mean, everyone's coming here. It's part of a learning process. It's beautiful. I mean, we have this forever. We get the video. Our conversations will be around for our great-grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren, all this stuff. So this is the ultimate gift you can give to yourself.
All right. That I never heard, but I understand now what you give it to yourself, and you actually, instead of somebody, you appreciate what is happening.
Right, and also the people, let's say our actors, the people that work with us actually get a lot of pleasure out of it. What you should see, I mean, sometimes the scenes you see are the ones that we do at your house for the most part.
Right.
But when we go to locations,
I know.
These actors and actresses, they're having the time of their life doing Scriptless. I mean, they really enjoy it, and Jim enjoys it. The crew, I know, Matt and Andrew, we're all into it, and then we're amazed at the performances that these actors give. It's unbelievable, and even if we're not 100% prepared exactly to where the story is going to wind up, because some actors wind up sometimes we have again, because they're not getting paid for the most part, I would imagine, or things happen in their life. Sometimes some actors don't show up, but because it's Scriptless, we can be flexible enough to change the story to fit the people that are actually in the who show up for the shoot.
Do you ever lose people?
Lose people all the time.
That's
and the other thing is, if people don't show up enough, if people stop showing up a couple of times, they want to come back, the story has already progressed.
Progressed without
right, and also, what is it? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Oh no, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I mean, I've had to tell actors that they can't be on the show anymore because we have shot lists, we know what shots we're going to do, and they don't show up, and then they decide to show up, and it's too late. The ship has passed. So there's only a few actors that get away with that. You me, Jim, Noah. Noah has been with me since episode 1 of Scriptless and before. He and I have worked together on other projects.
Who is, what's the name? Doc.
That's Jim.
Jim.
He's Dr. Kazak.
Yeah.
He's my partner. He's he and I we're like a production company. He does the editing, and we both produce these shows for LMC TV.
And how often do you see him?
Every week.
Every week.
Well, I'd say we have a standing Saturday editing process. But we didn't do it last Saturday because, we're not doing it this Saturday because we're shooting on Sunday. But we try to edit every week or so.
What does he do besides?
Oh, he's also he's an actor.
That's what I mean.
And he just recently got a starring part in the Joe Gawalis movie, and I'm jealous. Hear that, Joe? I'm jealous. And but I'm happy for Jim. But he also he sells Aflac insurance as well. So I mean, like when I was in Hollywood, I was acting, but I was also bartending. You know, because I needed. You know, it was just something to have. You know,
No, that's what I mean.
because the thing is, you don't, except for Scriptless. That's a regular thing that happens every month. Not everybody has a Scriptless. Not everyone has something that happens every month. A lot of actors go long times between between shows, and those are the times that you start really thinking to yourself, should I continue acting? You know, and I don't have to worry about that because LMC TV has taken care of that for me. And I still have other people who are interested in my acting that ask me to work on their shows, which is nice.
See, that's what I don't understand, and I'm glad that, I think of these things, and then I see how much they are doing, and how good it is. It's good, you know.
It is good. It's good. And the other thing is, like you have all these painters, let's say, these unbelievable painters, and their artwork is never appreciated when they're alive. So they're poor, but why do they do it? Because they have to. They have to paint. And for me, I was miserable for 22 years in between working in Hollywood and then getting the stay-at-home dad, which is what my buddies in Larchmont gave me, which was my first acting experience in 22 years. In those 22 years, there was a part of me that was just empty and miserable. And because of, Dave Bradley and Brandon Williams, who were the two guys that gave me my first part in 22 years, that went on Comedy Central and went to the New Hampshire Film Festival. I mean, that changed my life. And then LMC TV really changed my life because, the reason why I did my last movie, it was called American Brawler. It had, again, Zach McGowan, Amy Smart, Joey Pantoliano. I'm trying to think, there were a couple of other pretty famous actors in it. But the reason why I got the part of Mike Douglas, and who's Mike Douglas? Mike Douglas used to have a television show in the 70s, which was a talk show. It was an interview show like this. So Ken Kushner said, and it was funny because he also mentioned that, what's his name? Jason Alexander was supposed to take the part and he backed out of the film. That's what he told me. So he needed someone quickly to do an interview part playing a very famous guy. This guy, Mike Douglas, was like Merv Griffin during the 1970s. He had an afternoon talk show. And I interviewed Muhammad Ali, the person playing Muhammad Ali, and this guy, Chuck Wepner. And it was a great part, So these things happen, and they happen because of relationships. I've been in like 4 or 5 of Ken's movies. I had to turn down a movie from Joe, but this guy, Joe Simonero, but I might be doing it later on down the line. I mean, there's people who I've worked with who've changed my life. And whether I make money in the projects or not, it has nothing to do with the money. It's nice to make money. I'm not saying it's not nice.
No, definitely.
But it's really nice working in front of a camera and being able to bring other people in, like you, to a television station and to have fun. It's fun.
And like the people with the camera.
Yes.
They are learning just as much as.
Well, yeah, they're learning more probably because I'm already learned out in certain ways. You know what I mean? But these are new people that are coming up. They're perfecting their skills. They're working with Dina in the back. She's teaching them how to do the control room and how to direct. And this is all a learning experience. This is a community-based television station.
New people. How do they know? New people. How do they know about this?
They, it's community spot. It's through the community they find out. I mean, I don't know. That's a question I have to ask Dina. I'm not sure 100% how they find out, but it's they show. They have things in the local newspaper, I guess. I've seen I've seen things on TV talking about it, but then again, it's the local channels. But it's great because you get kids. You have young people coming here and older people, but mostly younger people who want to, work on television. And some of the people after they work here get jobs, in the industry, and it's really a stepping stone.
In other words, do they come from Columbia? Do they come from?
No, they come from Larchmont and New Rochelle, and they're kids. Most of them are high school students. Some of them are college students. But and they take their love here and they bring it to the next level. Like one of our guys, Remy, I mean, he was one of our regular directors on The Way to Go in the first season or two. He went to college. Now he has a radio show. He makes movies. He still, in other words, he learned it here, and then he takes it with him, and it's still part of his life. And that's what this is all about. This is, I mean, money is great. Believe me, I would love to make money, but the issue of, but that's not what I'm doing it. That's not why I'm doing it. Money's the last thing I think about. Actually, if it happens, it happens, and it happens. Like even with the national commercials, it just happened because I got a call saying, you know, we want to do a couple of Speed Stick Power commercials. Would you like to? We're doing 4. They're going to choose 2, and luckily they chose the 2 that I was in. Otherwise, I would have gotten paid for the day rather than getting the residuals. So, and part of it is it's who you know. And one thing I would say is that, like even Matt's been working with me. You know, we had a party. He met other people. You wind up expanding your the group of people. You know, it's all networking. And how do you network? You work with people, and then they like you, and they bring you, and they introduce you to other people. And next thing you know, you're working on other people's films, and you're doing other things.
What do you remember about your friends of years ago in Hollywood?
When you say that, take a drink. What do you mean by that? What do I remember? Well, I'll tell you. The key person who I met in Hollywood. Well, there were 2 key people. The first person I met in Hollywood, well, not Hollywood, but it was when I was with Albert up in San Francisco. I just answered an ad that was looking for extras for the movie The Right Stuff. I did that. I worked on it and then I became an extras coordinator on the set, and I worked on it for 4 months. Then after that, I worked on another movie called Forbidden Love with Yvette Mimeo and Andrew Stevens. And it was a kind of a stupid television movie. It was about a younger guy and an older woman, and they fall in love. But that was a turning point in my life because one of the assistant director or the guy in charge of the extras on this film was Steve Cohen. And Steve Cohen, was the person who said, why are you up here? You want to be in the movies? What are you up here for? Why don't you come down to Hollywood? 2 weeks later, I moved to Hollywood because my friend, Jonathan Bendich, who's Albert's son, one of his closest friends, Rodney Franklin, was recording an album for CBS Records. And he had a 2-bedroom suite at the Oakwood Apartments in Burbank. And he let me stay in one of his bedrooms. And then while I was there, Steve Cohen got me in the movie The Twilight Zone, which was being filmed right across the street at Universal Studios. And then he also got me into Cagney and Lacey, and he also got me into his movie, They Only Come Out at Night with Joey Pantoliano, which was my first speaking part in the movie. And so I would say Steve Cohen. I would say 3 people were 4 people. I have to say 4. Steve Cohen was really the most important person who I met, who changed my life, and then the other 2 was this guy, Les Rudge, whose son was Kyle, who was Aaron's best friend, and they went to Singapore together. But Les Rudge invited me to a poker game. And at that poker game, I met David Bradley. And David Bradley liked my stories about Hollywood. And he's the one who he introduced me to Brandon Williams. And Brandon Williams was the star of The Stay-at-Home Dad. And because of him, and my working with Brandon Williams, who got me not to fear acting the second time around. Mm-hmm. Through Brandon, I got both Speed Stick Power commercials, and Brandon and Dave, and an Audi commercial, an SAP commercial. So you talk about getting paid. I got paid a lot of money for those mm-hmm. things. But do I do it for the money? No. Do they use me because they use me because they like me. They like my work. So there's people here who like me. There were people, and Steve Cohen, you met him, but it's a long time ago. He was a change agent in my life. Unbelievable. Without meeting him, my life would be totally different.
In other words, a lot of this stuff is either if you're...
What's the word? When it's coincidence. It's serendipity. It's something that it happens so quickly that if you don't grab it, then it's gone. And a couple of times those kind of things happen. In Hollywood, there were opportunities that either I blew by saying something wrong or whatever, but I didn't say anything wrong with Steve, and I didn't say anything wrong with Dave. And those opportunities are few and far between, and if you're lucky, they happen. And it really is, it's remarkable. When I got those 2 Speed Stick Power commercials, I mean, it was, and there was, you know, the only way that could have happened is if I was an actor. Otherwise, if I wasn't doing acting, I wouldn't have gotten those commercials. So it happens, but actors have to act. And I look at myself more as a storyteller now, with especially with Scriptless. I do some acting on the show, but I don't do that much anymore. And I like directing. I love directing, and that was something, even though Dina doesn't like to take credit for it. Dina said when I first started doing Scriptless, "So are you going to direct?" And I didn't even think, you know, I was more concerned, can I act? You know, and I said, you know, I'll do the directing. And that was the best decision I ever made, the best.
What about these places that they have festivals?
That's what we're going to do. We're going to be sending some stuff to festivals soon. As a matter of fact, we're sending one thing
Really?
to, yes, we're sending something to,
I wanted to ask you that before, but
Jim is sending them now. Jim is supposed to send one this week.
I forgot the word, that's why I didn't.
He's going to send something this week, and we'll see what happens. I hope he did. But if he doesn't, there's a couple of, we're going to go to the free festivals first, because, you know, you have to, you have to pay to submit to festivals. Not that much, you know, but it could be, some places up to $50, some places are 15, 20, 25, 35, whatever it is. And you do it, and it can be seen. The beauty of working on Scriptless, I mean, at LMC TV, I don't have to worry about it being seen. It's going to be seen. I mean, even, I'll tell you, I was at dinner with my wife like a couple of months ago, and someone at IHOP, and someone passes by and is looking at me, and it's like, I got nervous, and it was a guy who recognized me from television, from LMC TV. So, I mean, people see you. But the other thing is we show it on, it also streams live, so, you know, and it's also some of the stuff, this show is on YouTube. It's, if people want to see it, they'll see it. You know?
If people want to see it, and what makes them want to see it?
I don't know,
No, really.
Promotion. You know, you have to be able to promote it. You might have to, you know, and the other thing that's important is if it's good, somehow people will get a chance to see it. If it's really good, you know, and that thing that we're doing that's going to be on Scriptless, the one that you were in called Waiting, that had people crying. So, I mean, people.
I want people to laugh. I don't want.
No, this was, well, it was a different kind of topic, but that really touched people. It was really, that's probably the best thing that I was ever creatively involved in. So it was, I mean, I love Scriptless. The first season of Scriptless was all me in certain ways, you know, the story. Scriptless MD, the second season has been more of a collaboration. But it's all good, you know, it's just, it's again, one of the sweetest things in my life, all this stuff. It makes my life worthwhile. You know, working as an accountant is such a drag. And, you know, coming home, the day-to-day agonies of life, but knowing that I have The Way to Go and Scriptless and The Laundryman, thanks to LMC TV, really has been a life-saving and life-changing situation for me.
Did Aaron or Cara ever want to do things like that?
Well, Aaron does a radio show, so he and he also studies film. That's one of the things. So eventually he's going to do something, but he's not sure. You know, he's very much a communicator. I would say that. So and you know, a lot of times communications are really fun communications, and then a lot of times communications aren't that much fun, because you know what happens. You know, every now and then on this show, there's always one thing left to say, just one thing. That's a wrap. Good night, folks.